Hello and good evening, and welcome to this West Yorkshire Football Show special with me, Stephen Downs. And as ever, we've got the ginger bearded wonder himself, Callum Scott, for this Town Talk special. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how Huddersfield Town didn't capitulate against Birmingham City and how we're definitely going to beat Barnsley on Saturday. Welcome to the show, Callum. As ever, how are you doing, mate? Have you had a trim this week? Don't look like it.
No, I've not. I'm letting it go back because I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth when I go to the barber.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just going to grow it until Town get a next win. To be honest,
It'll be down at my feet.
You're that confident. Confident.
So confident.
No, amazing. Well, we've got a special guest on tonight. He has appeared on the show, well, more than Kane Hall at the moment. Although Kane's going to rack up his appearances rather soon. He's out coaching tonight, and Zach. Well, have you got any tips on where he's in the world this week, Cal? I'm not sure. We'll have to get his Google Maps out.
Brussels. I believe it's Brussels.
He'll be sorting out the various wars that are going on and around the world. I'm sure some political issue he'll be sorting out. Anyway, let's get our special guest in. He's certainly not sorting out any political issues. It's Sam, the Birmingham fan. How are you doing, Sam?
Yeah, all good, thank you. There's a lot for us to be happy about with the football at the moment, and we'll get onto it, but very contrasting form to Huddersfield at the moment, and I'm sure there's a lot to talk about from the game from our side and also your side as well.
Jesus Christ, Callum, he's been on 3 seconds and he's already rubbing it in, isn't he? Do you want to mention Alfie May at all, or do you know what I mean?
No, you know what? You mentioned that first, so I wasn't going to mention that.
Well, it's good to have you on, Sam. And obviously, I appeared on. I didn't appear, but my voice did on your podcast the other day for the preview. Thank you very much for allowing me to come on there. I recorded the voice note in the rain at work. Obviously, my depressive day got worse that evening since we lost 1-0 to his good selves at St Andrews. And like I said, the sort of the way the two clubs have gone in this League One season has been bad so far. But I'll go to Callum first. I'll chuck to you first, mate. Did you go? And if you did, how was it? And if you didn't and you watched it on TV, how was it?
Thank God I watched it on TV. I did toy with the idea of going down, and then my rational mind took over, and I thought, no, it's on telly, I'll just stay on. But I don't think there's enough time in this little bit of an introduction to sum up my thoughts on the game, apart from the fact that I took to Twitter after the game and I think accidentally annoyed quite a lot of Birmingham City fans. I'd like to take this opportunity to any Birmingham fans watching and the Birmingham fan that we've got with us to apologise for that, because I did not intend to, by saying Birmingham City beat us by not being at their best.
Oh, okay, Sam. I'll give you the right of respond as all good journalists would do.
Well, if I'm being honest, there's a lot of fans that have given us much worse stick than that, to be honest. So yeah, it's completely fine with us. And after the Wrexham game, they were very salty after the game. So yeah, nothing compared to that. But in terms of the game from our perspective, it's one of those things where when you get on a winning run of form, and regardless of kind of who you face next, you always have that optimism that you are going to get 3 points. But the problem with Birmingham at the moment is, if you can call it a problem, is we start really slowly. So as the game was kicking off, and then we heard the rendition of Keep Right On, and literally right at the end of the Keep Right On, you guys probably came closest to scoring all game. And it was quite funny in the fact that if we would have gone 1-0 down, maybe the narrative might have changed a bit. But we've seen so far this season the control we took in games with not only the possession, but just with purpose as well, and really, testing the keeper with a lot of shots and creating a lot of chances. And thankfully we got the breakthrough when we did, and got the 3 points in the end.
Yeah, there's thanks everybody for getting in contact. I think Arthur's on the wrong show. Arthur Leeds United is tomorrow night, mate. We've also got Chris Bell, one of our presenters, Lincoln fan. He'll be cock-a-hoot with his draw the other night. Chris, it is a crisis, and we'll come on to that in a moment. And we've also got Terrier 930. Thanks again for joining us. Cat says beating Barnsley, unfortunately. Heart says a win, but Head says a win. But that says a defeat. Yeah, Callum, we did nearly score, as Sam said, sort of in the first 30 seconds with Mikel Miller, and it was a really good chance, actually. And, I'm sure if Mikel had it again, he might have taken it a bit better. But that would have been a fantastic start to the game. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go our way, did it?
No, a chance like that, it's sort of a godsend at a place like St Andrews, because you take that chance, you go 1-0 up, it settles the place right down. You sort of knock the wind and the momentum out of the home support for a little bit at least, and that would give us a chance to sort of get our heads onto the task at hand, get into the positions that we needed to get into in order to nullify the threats that Birmingham posed for us. As it was, we didn't take the chance. It allowed for Birmingham to get on the ball a little bit more, start to open us up. And once they'd done that, once they'd realised where they could exploit us, I have to admit they weren't as quick on the uptake as I thought they would be. Considering the players and the firepower that's in that team, I thought for large spells, I wouldn't say that we were on top, but we were able to do enough to stop Birmingham from sort of penetrating that back line, forcing them into playing long balls and things like that. And I thought it played into our hands a little bit, because the game became a little bit scrappy, both sides trying to get onto the ball and trying to have meaningful spells of possession, which didn't happen. And then obviously we then start. I don't think at this point in the season a good excuse is tired legs or lack of match awareness, but that's what it looked like. We seem to slip back into sort of cruising mode, and Birmingham were able to then use the support behind them, ramp up the pressure, and eventually the pressure told.
Yeah. Sam, you obviously, after that first minute, like say, you were maybe on a few tenterhooks that Huddersfield might actually turn up for a match. But, it was quite quickly after that the first sort of 20 minutes went by. You'd sort of ridden out all our huff and puff, and kind of you took control then, and you must have been quite confident after that sort of first stage of the match that you were going to go on and get the 3 points that you needed.
Yeah, I was pretty confident, but I think the way that our passing pattern started off at first, because of the conditions and the fact that the ball wasn't perhaps carrying as it would have done on a dry surface, there was a few wayward passes to start off with. And what we usually do is what you said earlier there, kind of about kind of the players getting a bit tired and wearing them out. That's kind of a theme that's been through Birmingham most of the season, where we've used possession to really dominate games, and then in the final quarter of the game really punish teams, and then when they're really tired, make that breakthrough then. But with the game, I mean, we had some pretty good chances in the first half to go in the lead. That Alfie May header, he missed from about 1 yard out. He called it the worst miss of his career after the game. And yeah, it was a bit of a howler, wasn't it, after some great work by Ford. But as you said, first 20 minutes, it's the same kind of patterns that we've had for most of the season to start off with, dominating possession. But we did miss a few chances, but the second half came and you just felt the more chances we created, the more likely we were to score. And then Alfie May redeemed himself with that finish round about the 60-minute mark, because he was just about to be subbed off actually, but scored in the nick of time.
Were you worried, Sam, at 0-0 that it might, because obviously you've been on this fantastic run of about 7 games, I think, of being undefeated. I mean, were you a little bit worried that things might not go your way?
Yeah, definitely, because I think there was games even last season where we dominated the game but just couldn't get the 3 points. And I think this is where the change in mentality comes for Birmingham, because these games before we definitely would have, drawn them or even lost them. Whereas now we are, patient and confident in our own ability that we are going to find the breakthrough. So we're not just rushing for the sake of it. We're sticking to the patterns that are being instructed by Chris Davis and his management team, albeit with Davis not actually at the touchline. He was in the stands because he had a touchline ban, because he's picked up 3 yellow cards already, and all of them for fuming with the fourth official for time wasting from the other teams. So that's a bit of a pattern that's carried on throughout this season. But in this game, yeah, it was pretty confident, but you always had that feeling in the back of your mind because of the fact that past Birmingham teams have fallen at these hurdles before, where teams have not necessarily created the best of chances. But when they do and they go 1-0 up, then we just struggle to turn it around. But thankfully, we got the first goal and won the game.
Callum, when Alfie May stuck that away, there was a depressive note of every Town fan's heart, I think, but they kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, when that goal went in for 2 reasons. Obviously, the player that scores, but also the fact that we kind of knew the game was up.
Yeah, I think we were on sort of a hiding to nothing with the way that we were playing, because once Birmingham got on the ball and were able to cause that pressure, we didn't offer anything to try and counter that. We just tried to soak up the pressure, which is fine. That's arguably that is a good tactic against certain teams in this division. It is not a good tactic against Birmingham City at St Andrews, because they will just find a way of playing around you, and they did.
I also felt, Calvert, that like many sides this season, they've just had a superior confidence in midfield compared to our midfield. I mean, I know probably, when we talk about the Barnsley game, we'll talk about the formation and Duff and things a bit more. But again, Birmingham just were able to control that midfield so easily.
Yeah, but why wouldn't any team be confident coming up against us at the minute? We're not a good football inside at the moment. We don't fit comfortably tactically into what we're trying to do. We don't look sure on the ball when we try and play that system. I'm not entirely sure we have the players to be able to do what they're being asked to do at the moment. Why wouldn't any side be confident on the ball, looking up and going, right, we'll take the game to these, and these are the areas that we can win the game in?
What impressed you, Sam, most about Birmingham? Not just against Town, but so far this season. I think when I listened to the preview, it was something like, what is it, 5 or 6 games on the spin, and you haven't done that for a long time, have you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're on our best winning run since the 1940s, which just goes to show that this record stretches a long time back, and we're breaking new records now. And obviously, the fact that we are in League One and spent the money that we have, you have got to take that into consideration. But still, the teams in front of you've got to beat, and we're doing it in some style as well. Because, as I said before, like in previous Birmingham teams, you would have made like a right mess of it and left it until the last seconds or whatever. But I feel like the thing that's impressed me the most so far this season is just the control that we've had in games, and it's just so refreshing to see, like you said there about the midfield. And it's been a recurring theme this season ever since we signed Iwasa from Celtic next to Paige. Just an amazing partnership, and them two really are a class above League One. And I don't think it's really arrogant to say that because of the pedigree that they've come to the club with. And I'm not saying it to be cocky or anything. It's literally just, the teams that they've played for and they have signed for the project. I mean, if it was another League One club, not with the financial wealth that we've got, then perhaps they wouldn't have gone down to the division. But it just goes to show the ambition of the club we've got at the moment and the personnel. And it really has been measured, the recruitment strategy of Craig Gardner, Chris Davis, and all the team there to really pick out the right individuals for the way that Chris Davis wants to play. And it's strategy that we've not seen in a Birmingham team in such a long time, because there really is, a method to it now. And you can see they've really worked in it on the training ground, and we've got better as the games have gone on as well.
Yeah, I mean, Callum, obviously, speaking to Sam, it's like night and day, isn't it, really? I mean, we both got relegated from the Championship. We've both got US owners. We've both probably got in the top 3-4 budgets in the league. And our fortunes have just gone downhill, and theirs has, with the money that's, yes, obviously the money that you guys have spent have made a difference. But I think the whole scenario around the club, I heard you talking. I've listened to a few of your podcasts. Blue Focus, by the way, go check it out, guys, because what you guys do is absolutely fantastic. But I've heard the sort of the confidence that you speak about, the positivity around the whole club, not just about on the pitch, but kind of what's happening off the field. And Callum, it's just I'm really sorry, Sam, but it's just so depressing to hear from our side of things. It's just like night and day.
We were there for a long time, so I completely understand your pain and your frustration.
I know, but it's going on for 10 years with us.
Yeah, it's the same for us, pretty much.
Yeah,
but no, go ahead, Callum, because I'm sure that you guys have got something to say about it all.
Night and day's right, and I'm not going to subject you to my witterings at the moment. That will come a bit later on today, I assume. But night and day is spot on, but it just shows you the difference of having people at the football club day in, day out that know the level, that know English football well enough to say, right, we're going to put money into this area. We're going to put money into this area. And they've done a lot of what we've done. You know, St Andrews is a completely different football stadium now to what it was before the owners took over. You know, they've modernised it, they've made it look a bit better. Kevin Nagle has modernised the stadium and has made it look a bit better. The product on the pitch is regressing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a breath now before I lose my mind.
No, I think, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later, Town fans. So please do get your comments in. But that Sam, from your point of view, you've kind of got the synergy of both. Obviously, you know, like the owners put a lot of money in, probably to the point where you've probably overpaid for players. Would that be a fair comment, that you've gone out and maybe you've had to spend a bit more than what you would have expected?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
No Birmingham fan would expect us to spend around 30 million, which we have in League One. I mean, that is completely out of the imagination for us at the start of this season, like before the transfer window even opened. But yes, I would say we have paid for players, but it's the thing in the boardroom where they're picked out a player that they want and they're going to do everything they can to try and get that player. And it's that ambition that the fans are really buying behind. The fact that if we want a player, we're going to try and do our best to get that deal done and get it over the line. Because the one I think of in particular is Jay Stansfield. You know, that was a deal that was done very late on deadline day, but that's kind of the number one target we had throughout the summer transfer window. We were constantly chipping away at Fulham, sending them transfer offers, getting them rejected, but then coming back in with other offers as well. And it's just that ambition that the fans have really brought into. And I think the deal sheet was sent off at 10:56 or something. So 4 minutes before the deadline, we just about got it done. And yeah, the fans are very happy with it all. And I mean, I'm sure you guys might get onto it in a bit with the whole Alfie May situation, but the fact that he was on the way to Huddersfield, wasn't he? And then we intercepted the deal. And it's one of those things where, again, we picked out the player that we want and we're going to try and offer the best offer we can to try and get them to come to our club. And the players brought into the project as well, because with Alfie May this season, before Stansfield signed, he would have probably been the main man up front and certainly one of the main players in the team. But now he's kind of turned more into a team player. And you can kind of see that in the way that he's playing. He's playing a bit deeper, trying to get involved in the build-up play. And so it's kind of compromised his style, but he's still performing well on the pitch. So it's one of those things where the team really is working well together. And it's not just, you know, these individuals that cost a lot that turn their nose up at the rest of the team. They've really bought into it. And the team ethos, I think, has really showed. And that's the reason why we're top of the league with the amount of wins we've got so far.
Do you, yeah,
sorry,
go on,
the difference. You know, you spend so much time tracking a player, you go in, you get the player. We spend a whole summer tracking players like Freddie Ladapo. And then we wait for them to come as free agents, which was all part of the plan. That's the difference in the approach. Birmingham City, yes, I believe, have overspent on players. The fee for Jay Stansfield, I believe, is substantially higher than what it could have been. However, that's the owner's prerogative. If they want to spend that money, if they want to put it into the club, I'm sure no Birmingham fan's going to turn around and go, no, I don't think we should be spending that money. Of course they're not.
Yeah, no, I think you are spot on there, Callum. Is there just something, Sam, in the back of your mind thinking, right, it's great that we've spent all this money in League One, fantastic. You can spend 70% of your turnover in League One in the first season that you go down to bounce straight back up. But then you've got to balance that with the going back into the Championship, and you've got to spend 39 million over 3 seasons. Now, I don't know. Maybe you think this team is good enough to be a Championship club, you know, and will be well clear of relegation if you went up with the team that you've got now. But does it worry in the back of your mind about the finances, or are you just going to enjoy the ride and see where it goes?
It's a bit of both, really. There's always that cynic in you as a football fan that you think of the worst possible scenario that could happen. But with the whole change of optimism that's happened around the club, you don't really want to think like that. And it's one of those things where if we do get promoted to the Championship, then yeah, perhaps the spending rules might be a bit different. But we've built a team that is Championship ready, as Gary Cook said, who's our director of football. And he's someone that really has, you know, spoke openly about the ambition of Birmingham and wanting to deliver a team on the pitch that gets results and also can be kind of there for around 3 or 4 years in terms of like-for-like replacements in the team, recruiting players that are young as well that can grow into the squad, and then we can sell them on for more as well. Because one of the issues with Birmingham teams in the past is that we've recruited players that are kind of over the hill in their like late 20s, early 30s, have injury problems, and we don't get any money back on them. Whereas now yes, we've got more money behind us, but we're certainly spending it better than what we did around 2016, 2017 time with the old regime that came in then, where we invested a lot on players but got nothing back for them. Whereas now I feel like half of this team will eventually leave at some point, but I reckon we will get a profit on them. And that's just a sustainable way to operate, isn't it? If you're having a young squad, being able to sell them on for more, and then having players that are either coming through the academy or we recruit young once again to try and get our money back and just be sustainable in that way.
Yeah. Where do you think? Obviously, I forgive me, I don't know who quite you've got up next, but what is the thought process going into the rest of the season? I mean, we could end up with a record points total from this Birmingham side, and I think is it Plymouth that's got the record points total? Might be.
It's Wolves.
Oh, is it Wolves? I mean,
yeah,
you'd love to break that, wouldn't you?
Oh yes.
I mean, do you think it's possible to break
it? It's still early days, isn't it? In the fact that we haven't picked up any major injuries yet, and there are a lot of teams still trying to figure out what they're going to do for this season. So there's a lot of uncertainty. But I think the feeling in the fan base is kind of, why not? You know, let's just hop on this train and let's get a bit carried away, because we've had nothing to be carried away about for the last decade. So why not be optimistic? If the team on the pitch is playing well, then why can't the fans be optimistic? And I mean, Christian Bielik came out with some comments earlier this week. I don't know if you guys seen it, about the fact that he thinks all the players in the team are too good for League One. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking, like, I don't know if he should say that publicly, because then that's Huddersfield's team talk done, isn't it? But again, it's that thing where I think, why not? You know, why not let us think like that? But yeah, I think the points tally is something that the players will subconsciously be thinking about, but maybe too early to say that we can do it in September. So still a long way to go in the season.
Is that not an expectation for a club that's spent like you have?
I think the expectation is definitely to win the league. Whether we win the league with the record is a different question, isn't it? It's all about balancing the expectations with what we're delivering on the pitch. And yeah, it's going very well at the moment. And I think in January there could be a couple more players that do join, but it's a long old season in League One, and we could pick up some major injuries. So you just never know, really. But one thing is, with Birmingham at the moment, I'm actually looking forward to the games, which is something that I haven't felt in a long time, especially last season. And I imagine it's the same for you guys as well, making the match previews and being down there in the relegation scrap. And it was just an absolute drag to make videos every week and try and be optimistic about the team, where everybody online saying negative stuff. So I hope for your guys' sake that it changes around, because at the moment you're experiencing that at the moment, aren't you? So I really hope it changes around for you guys.
Yeah, it's just kind of continued, mate. If I'm being honest, it lasted for like 3 weeks. It was a golden period this season where everything was like, it was mate. We had the sunglasses.
You're in the playoff final not too long ago, so yeah, it's one of those things where maybe think back to that point and think, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, those are the worst, aren't they?
I mean, you could go back through the last 10 years of Town's history and think, like, if certain events would have happened, what would have happened? But I suppose, like, in a sense, you can't really think like that. Just finally, Sam, before we let you go to do whatever you're going to do, but what have you made to Town so far this season? Do you see it turning around from an outside perspective? I think I like to get outside fans' views on it. Me and Cal will go on to probably dissect every part of the football club, but from an outsider point of view, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff from Huddersfield fans about the ownership and the director of football. And I mean, from Birmingham fans, we've seen the public quotes from Cartwright about Alfie May saying about, it weren't worth paying the money or something like that. And he went on to score the winner. But I think with Huddersfield at the moment, what the fans seem to be upset about is the recruitment, isn't it? And the players that you guys have brought in, and whether they're up to the standard of the team that's pushing for promotion. And you guys were one of the early favourites with us because of the fact that we both got relegated from the Championship last season. And there's certainly some talented individuals in the team, like Helic, I think, is a good player. But obviously, he's out injured for you guys at the moment, so he'll be a big miss. And yeah, I think once Huddersfield get it together, I mean, Michael Duff as the manager, he had some success in League One getting Barnsley to the playoffs, didn't he, I think? And Swansea, it didn't really work out for him in the Championship. So he's someone that's, I think, still kind of trying to find his feet. But whether the future's with Duff or not, I'm not too sure at the moment it is. And I know Huddersfield have gone through a lot of managers in the last couple of seasons. And Birmingham have as well. You know, we've gone through a lot of managers, but our thing that we found successful was going for a young, kind of unproven manager, someone that's really desperate to, you know, stake his claim at a football league club. So it could be the next manager of Huddersfield, be a younger British guy that has coached in some academies and then looking to make that next step. So someone maybe that's a bit younger with some fresher ideas might work out for you guys.
Yeah. Just finally, mate, I think you're up for a little award at the Blues Focus podcast. You kind of what's going on there? Little pastry party down in London, is it?
Oh yes, yeah. It's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in November, and it's the Football Content Awards, and we've been nominated for the Best Club Content Creator. So we're very happy with that. We won the award last year, and that was at Anfield, and that was such a fantastic night for everyone involved. So if we could go back to back, that would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, the voting closes 13th of October, and we've got that ceremony in November. So fingers crossed we have some results on the pitch and some results in the awards ceremony as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, best of luck with that, mate. And me and Callum might be asking for a few tips to get us up to your guys' standards. We joke about on this channel about professional journalists, but we can't say we've not got any award winners on it yet. So yeah,
one day, Steve. One day.
Oh, yes.
One day, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come, guys.
One day. But best of luck down in London, mate. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
We meet you again, and enjoy your evening, Sam. Thanks very much, mate.
Yeah, you too. Good luck for the rest of the season as well.
See you later, buddy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there we are. There's Sam from the Blue Focus podcast. Absolutely really nice fella. And thanks very much. And like we said, best of luck in the award ceremony for when they go down there, Cal. But just obviously moving on from Birmingham now, and we come to talk about Barnsley. Let's just get a few comments in, actually. So we've got Blue Terrier 99. There says, we were good at Birmingham for 20 minutes. Apart from that, we didn't really offer anything going forward. Terrier 930 says, can't believe how bad Ladapo looks. Think he touched the ball once after coming on. And then again, Blue Terrier 19 says, Duff needs to find a system that fits what we have and stop being stubborn. Otherwise, even though a lot of fans don't think he's the problem, they will start questioning him. So obviously it's Barnsley this weekend, Cal, but I was just going to sort of touch on before we do the Barnsley game, like what is going on at our football club, my friend? Because
there's not enough time in the world to answer that question currently.
Well, do your best as a professional journalist, because I'm just thinking, right? So obviously we've also had Tom H, who says, do you think that the problems are down to Nagel or something much deeper, like Andre suggested last season? I'll do my take, and then I'll let you come in with yours. So I think a lot of the problems are systemic, historical problems with this football club. I think there's a lot of negativity in terms of there's been a certain attitude that has happened throughout the football club because of the losing nature. We've lost, things have happened off the pitch or whatever, and it's not been an easy place to either work or play for. And therefore that sort of perpetual losing habit, even though we've had so many, we have had ups in the last 10 years. We've got to the Premier League. We've had that playoff campaign under Carlos, but those have been if you imagine a roller coaster, they've been very little highs, and then we've gone straight back down into a low period. And I feel that the club's been in such a roller coaster motion over that time period that it's not been stable. And that's not helped anybody at the football club. There's been so much change from ownerships to players, to managers, to backroom staff, to director of footballs and everything else, that I just think that the people that have probably been there a long time don't actually know where they're at now. They don't. They probably. I think there's like a malaise probably that's happened, and I know that Kevin Nagel's tried to change that. He wants a culture change, and I love that he wants a culture change. Nobody can question that he hasn't put money into the football club, because he has. You can see that around the stadium. You can see that into the training ground, and you can see that into the team in January with the fees that we paid for players. Now, I think one of the main positives we have at the moment is Michael Duff. Yes, okay, the 3-5-2 system isn't working. Yes, is he stubborn? Yes. Does he need to change it? Yes. But I think there's bigger problems at Huddersfield Town Football Club than just the manager. And changing the manager again will not work. It doesn't work. Like, how many managers do we want to go through before we accept that it's just not down to the manager? Right, go, Callum.
I both agree and disagree with you all at the same time.
Amazing.
So,
Go on then. Agree first.
I agree in so much as there are systemic problems at Huddersfield Town Football Club that have been in the background for years.
Yeah.
Since Hoyle, since Hodgkinson. Do you remember him? That was grim, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
since and then Hoyle again, and now Nagel, and there are systemic problems at the football club. Now, my problem comes when it comes to buying a football club. If you're a businessman, you do your due diligence and you ask what problems there are at the football club, because it isn't like these problems have not been diagnosed. It's not like they're hidden in the cupboard in the boardroom and no one just goes in there. It's locked shut. They're very evident and very clear, and it is negligible from the top down at the football club, where people have stood and watched poor decisions being made, poor footballing decisions on the pitch, off the pitch being made, and done nothing about it. And that is why we find ourselves in the position that we're in.
Yeah,
I agree with you in so much as we shouldn't change the manager. However, how you can say, I think Duff is the right man, but his tactics are wrong, his system is wrong, and essentially everything that he's doing on a match day is wrong, you know, that screams to me, is the manager wrong?
Yeah, but you've just said that we can't sack the manager. So what are you supposed to do?
I want us to back the manager. I want us to back the manager, but the question marks for me come. Somebody needs to ask the question: who was in charge of recruitment? If it was Cartwright, then the buck stops with him. If it was Duff and he signed these players and this is the product we're getting, then the buck stops with Duff, and a managerial change probably does need to happen then, because he has been backed as a manager in the transfer market. He's bought these players in and they're not working. However, I don't think that's the case. I think these are Cartwright's players. I think these are players that have been sort of plucked from Mark Cartwright's magic book of hellish Stoke City football. Freddie Ladapo again. I feel like I'm going to start a one-man vendetta against that bloke, but I don't care. He's rubbish.
He's not made a great start. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you know, for a six, and I know Duff will say, well, he's not match fit, but I expect a 6'1" striker or whatever he is to be able to at least win one header against Blackpool in the first half. I do expect that. You know, that is basic football, isn't it? You don't have to be match fit to jump and win a header. I find that amazing that he's not being able to hold the ball up, or, you know, I mean, I play football, not to any great degree, but when I play up top, I can at least hold the ball up and pass it on or win the odd header. I'm not great at heading. I've got a 50p head, I admit, but I can at least do it. But the thing for me, right, is it's the communication process as well. So when it was said that we watched Freddie Ladapo all summer, no, you haven't. You haven't.
No.
What's happened is you've gone for Alfie May, you've missed out. Now Birmingham are paying him reported 16 grand a week, £500 to £1,000 moving fee, and God knows how many bonuses. Right? If any town fan thinks that we were going to pay that, they're mad. Then we went after Joe Taylor at Luton. Now, I was disappointed that we didn't get Joe Taylor over the line. The reason we didn't get him over the line is because Luton somehow wanted some player from blooming Stoke who they were never going to get, right? And that's the frustrating thing, but that's how football works. But you've got to have contingency plan, and it seems like the contingency plan wasn't there. So then when we signed Freddie Ladapo, and all right, he might not be match fit, but when we've signed him, and then we get told, oh, we've looked at him all summer. Don't treat us like idiots. We're not idiots. You haven't looked at him all summer. You haven't. It's not. I mean, I don't know. I find it so frustrating.
He's telling me there's a director of football and all the analysts and all the recruitment analysts and the heads of recruitment are sat in a meeting going, right, lads, well, we didn't get Alfie May because we were out for him. Fair enough. And we didn't get Taylor because Luton were fanning about. Fair enough. Tell you what, lads, we should sign this free agent from Ipswich. He's not going to be match fit until Christmas, but I really think he could do a job.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm really sick of us signing players that are injury prone. I'm really sick of it now. I asked Mark Carr, I sat there in Duff's press conference and I said to Mark Cartwright, I said, right, why are we signing injury prone players? What do we look at? Do we look into injuries? Is the medical department aware of what's happening with injuries? And he goes, yeah, we do an extensive medical and all this. And then within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, one of them breaks down. You know, it's like, and then we hear about, you know, how Reece Healy's hamstring was sewn together with a thread and needle out of, you know, Zach's sewing kit. You know, and it's just like, it's just a bit embarrassing. Just go to some comments here before we carry on. Tom H says we need to back Duff. Ross is agreeing with him, says we need to stick with him. Blue Terrier 19 says Duff will 100% have a say on signings, but maybe not as much as needed. Interesting. Ross says, again, if we don't go up, are you going to be happy? Maybe push for next year instead. And then Teddy 930 says we need to get Cartwright gone, but won't happen as he's Beswick's sports guy. Who are in on the advisory role at Town? Worrying times. Share with these lot pulling the strings. Callum, I mean, what do you make of some of them comments? I think that we need to stick with Duff. I do.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I just think Town fans, listen, you might not like his tactics, you might not like his team, but we can't continue to sack and hire managers. It don't work. We did it last season. We had 3 managers. It's just, I can't. If we're going to say there's somebody to blame, it's not the manager in this instance. Oh. And I actually like his press conferences. Like, people say, oh, press conferences don't mean out. We said that with Kane the other week. I agree. They can be very mundane. But at least Duff has some sort of analysis afterwards, where we got gobbledygook from Cowley's, we got boring press conferences from Darren Moore. Brighton Wright just blamed everybody. Warnock told a load of old stories, but he was great. And Corberan was technical speak. So at least Duff says it as it is. If we've played crap, he'll at least say that we've played crap, which he has done.
Which is all well and good, and I appreciate it right now. But come Christmas time, if we're still in this position, or worse, and he's still wheeling out those, well, we didn't play well enough, we know that, change it then. The one man that can change it at the football club, on the football pitch, is the manager.
I agree. But has he got the tools to do it, Callum? Has he got the tools to do it?
We're not at that position yet, I understand, and I am willing to give Duff time. I think the last thing we need at the moment is another change in the dugout. I am.
Do you think Town fans are quick to say, "I'll get rid of him"? Because I think there's some fans that have been too harsh on him.
Probably are, but you've got to remember they're looking at the product on the pitch as they see it.
Yeah, which we all
are. A lot
of
Town fans won't think, oh, God, look at the boardroom. A lot of the Town fans will just go, see what they see on the pitch and go, right, who's responsible for what's on the pitch? The manager. Well, there's clearly the problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I agree with giving Duff time. I hope we do. I think we will. It would be daft at this point to
I don't.
change. Also, look at the market. What managers would come to Huddersfield Town? We are not an attractive football club to come to. And I said this at the end of last season when Brighton Wright left. We are not an attractive football club to come to. Dropping down a division has not made us any more attractive as a football club for a coach to go, yeah, I'm going to go there. I could really do things there.
Yeah.
Everyone can see the negativity around the football club. Everybody can see that there's players that turn up, go through the motions and go home. We're not an attractive football club. And yes, there's an argument to be made for the manager being sort of sorting that atmosphere out and being able to generate a positive one. Warnock, Worthington, two good examples of generating a positive dressing room atmosphere and the effect that can have on the product on the pitch. But if these issues are more entrenched than what we say, or as entrenched as we think, what manager's going to look at us and go, that's the club for me?
Yeah. I also think there's a real bad mentality issue at the football club, and I think, to be fair to Duff, I don't think he realised probably how difficult it was going to be to come in here. I think I think he's happy to take on the challenge. I don't think he's not gonna do a Brian Wright and run away from it and shy away from it. But I think he's not realised it. He hasn't until he's got under the bonnet of the squad and seen what he's had to work with. I think he knows there's quality play. We all know if everybody's fit and everybody's confident and everybody's firing, we've got an half decent League One squad, right? Well, that's not the case. We've got an injury squad with no confidence and a mentality issue. It's not about putting effort in. I'm sure the players on the pitch put effort in. They're just either not good enough, they're weak mentally, or they're injured. That's the problem.
After last year, I think we're constantly standing on that precipice of a couple of things need to happen, and then maybe the players won't put as much energy in.
Yeah.
And maybe we will see that on the pitch, and that is a real problem. But I think looking at what Ross has said there, if we don't go up, are you going to be happy, maybe push for next year instead?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Look around this division at the teams that have thought that and then not been able to get out of this division. Look around Reading, Charlton, Wigan, Bolton, Blackpool.
Yeah.
Christ, the list goes on and on. So no, I think that's a really dangerous way of thinking.
Yeah.
I'd be happy
also,
with
it. Financially, so you can do, like I said, 70% of your turnover this year, which gives any relegated side an advantage over literally every other club in the division. Next year, you instantly lose that because you don't have the revenue that you were bringing in beforehand. It's kind of like the playoff parachute payments, but instead of being over 5 years, it's literally 1 year and then it's gone.
Yeah, I think that's a really dangerous position for us to be in terms of as a football club. I think we're at a position now, and I've seen a lot of people using the word apathy, and I used it a bit last year. Has it set in, or has it carried over that sort of apathy from the top down in the football club of, well, we've lost the game, no, it's just Huddersfield Town. We'll do this, then we'll have a good run, and then someone will get injured and we'll start losing again, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
it's just a terrible way of thinking. It's a terrible mindset, and you can see at the club, certain people at the club, that is the mindset, and they can go in front of the cameras and they can parrot the message that we're doing this and we're doing that. Ultimately, you've how long has Cartwright and Edwards been in their respective roles, in high roles at the football club, delivering very little on the football pitch?
Yeah, I think there is circumstances that you can understand. I also think there are things that have been said that haven't necessarily been quite done, which we thought maybe would have been over the line by now. The stadium, obviously, things with the squad, things like that. There's certain messaging that's gone out and hasn't been quite delivered upon. which has then also affected other things within the fan base. You know, fans don't just. I agree. Some fans just want to go on Saturday and just watch the football, but there are fans like myself and Callum and hundreds, thousands more out there that look to deeper things within the football club. We want a success, right? Nobody can criticise and say me and Callum particularly, or any other fan of Huddersfield Town does not want the entire club to succeed. We would love to be Man City winning the league. Well, maybe not on the 130 charges, but we would love to be Man City winning the league every year, being in the Champions League, and just being a whole club success, right? We doing great stuff in the community and all this and that, brilliant. But we're not, right? And therefore, every other club, bar probably the top 6, has problems. Huddersfield Town has many more problems than some other clubs. But I feel it's just the thing with football is sometimes I feel like football fans are treated a bit like idiots, and we're not. I don't know how you feel about it, Cal, but that's how I feel sometimes.
I agree. And it's almost like they think that we don't know as much as what we do know, you know. Yeah. And I go back to the parroting of the, let's call it what it is, the lie about Freddie Ladapo. We were not tracking that player all summer. We just weren't doing it. Because for large parts of the summer, he was an Ipswich player.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to pay the fees of a recently promoted to the Premier League football team that they'd have demanded for a striker. Yes, he wasn't getting in the team, but he was still a fairly influential player for maybe not last season, the year before.
Yeah, but he got 2 promotions with him, so he weren't going to, you know.
We put a price tag on his head. We weren't tracking him all summer because otherwise Ipswich would have wanted money out of us.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have let him go as a free agent and let us sign him for free. They'd have been missing out on money. So that is just
yeah.
I'm fired up.
Tom H says this league is there for the taking. Look at Mansfield. It doesn't take much to be up there at the top of the table. It's a tough league. It's a tough league, Tom. I disagree with you there. I think, you know, you look at the sides that are in it. It was never going to be an easy league. It's probably the most competitive League One's been for a number of seasons, actually, and that doesn't help with the fact that Stockport, Wrexham have come up. You know, Mansfield are doing well under Cloughy. So it is. I understand that probably the point that you're trying to make is that if you get a few wins, you can be up there. I agree with that, but you know, we're 5 points off the playoffs, 5 points off relegation in 15th. Yes, we're only 3 points off the playoffs, but that table, as the season goes on, will start to deconcertina, and you will get the cream rising to the top, and the coffee beans, you know, sink into the bottom. So or the tea bag.
Pulled out Cantona. He's done a Cantona there. Sometimes the seagulls follow the trawler. That's what
the seagulls aren't following the trawler at the moment because they've been scattered all over the seaside at Scarborough.
I'm very sorry to do this. I appreciate that Mansfield was probably just an example pulled out of the hat. What have Mansfield got that Huddersfield Town don't? Lee Gregory up front. An established striker at this level. What have we been crying out for weeks, months? A striker.
A 38-year-old called Steve. Is it Stephen Quinn on the wing?
Yeah.
We don't want a 38-year-old Stephen Quinn though. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's working, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've beat Northampton.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we could do that.
Not to be that guy, but we didn't beat Northampton.
Oh, Callum's gone into that guy, Town fans.
Just lose 3-0 to Bradford in Cup though, so you know, let's just calm it
down. 10-930 said Nagel re-interviewed both Edwards and Cartwright last season and decided to keep them both. That to me is ringing alarm bells. There's a lot being made of that. I think, you know, sometimes businesses do that to reanalyze themselves. I don't think that's just a football thing. I think that is a general business thing. unless you're a business owner, Teddy 930, and you tell me different. But I understand that happens all the time, that business owners do that sort of thing. What I would say, though, is what did the analytics say that particularly one part of that duo has done a decent job?
I'd love to know what was asked.
You know,
in that.
it will be that. Yeah,
I'd like to know the questions that were asked, because there's only one that needs asking. What have your achievements been at Huddersfield Town Football Club? Name them.
Freddie Ladapo. And as we move on to the Barnsley game, it's Barnsley coming up this weekend, 12:30 kickoff at the John Smith Stadium for Yorkshire Derby. Whenever we play Barnsley, well, two things now. Obviously, firstly, I'm going out with somebody. My long-term girlfriend now is from Barnsley, and she's coming to the game, so can't wait for her to give me tops for when we're 3-0 down.
Away end.
And secondly, I always remember, and I like Barnsley as a football club. I can't not lie. They're one of the clubs that I actually really do like. Good fan base, nice people. But I always go back to that 2012-13 game with Mark Robbins being like an aeroplane, swinging his arms in the air, and James Vaughan sitting on the pitch, and the goalkeeper Jason Steele holding it at one end while we relegate one of the clubs that I don't like in Peterborough United. Sorry to bring that up, Posh fans, if you are watching. You're probably not. Callum, this weekend, are we positive? I'm not, if I'm honest.
No, I'm not. I watched Barnsley. Who did I watch them against? They were on telly.
Wickham, was it? They drew 2-2 to Wickham on Tuesday.
Yeah, they might have been on. Whenever they were on Sky, it might have been Wickham. I'm not sure, but there are players in there that are going to cause us some serious trouble. I've picked out. I don't know whether we normally do this, but I'm feeling a little bit Statman Dave at the moment. I've picked out two. Defender Dejevny and midfielder. Do you remember Luca Connell? I believe he was a youngster at Huddersfield Town.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
So why them two?
Because he's consistently been, Luca Connell specifically, has been their highest rated player across every game that they've played this season. Solid in that if that happens, I might eat my own eyelids. But yeah, I think
what a comment. Anybody in the South Stand Saturday put his video that happening. We'll put it up.
I think consistently Barnsley offer a lot to threaten us into it's gone. This is gone now.
We were doing a really good analysis point there, and Blue Teddy 19, you've ruined it. Clip that, he says. Don't worry, it'll be getting clipped. We're going on TikTok.
Every week I produce a clippable moment, and it is not to my credit.
Those are TikTokable moments. Anyway, carry on with your superb analysis, Callum, if you can.
Yeah, he's become the consistently highest rated player in the Barnsley squad across all the games that he's played. He plays as a deep line playmaker, and you know what we're really not good at?
What?
Holding the ball up in the midfield.
Yeah.
You know what he's really good at? Winning the ball in midfield.
Oh, no.
Winning the ball in midfield, spraying it out to the wings. And
there's a juxtaposition there.
I can see it. If we set up the similar way that we've been set up for the last how many games? 8, 9?
Yeah.
I can see it. It's a long ball over the top into the corner, cross across the face of goal, 1-0 Barnsley. Easy.
Yeah.
That's how
by John Russell.
John Russell. Camera cut to me in the South Stand like that. There you go. I was caught on Sky the other day putting V's up at Duff.
Oh, yeah, it's not very nice, is it? It's not very nice. And what about the other player?
Just a solid defender. Again, he's not the highest rated in their squad, but he is third. He's certainly the highest rated defender in their side consistently. And he's not afraid of getting up the pitch and getting shots away. Something that we are again quite poor at defending against. But what really worries me about that back three specifically is the amount of discipline that they have compared to how erratic we look in front of goal.
Yeah.
We'll pass the ball around, we'll try and spray it round. If we do that, they'll just cut the ball out and we lose possession. They're really disciplined. They'll stick to a back three if they set up like they've set up previous. They'll stick to a back three, they'll force us wide, and we have no option then.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, analyst. We'll get you on Match of the Day very soon.
I just need one of them screens with like circles around players.
Yeah, I agree. With your little pen and you're like drawing like diagonal across little triangles and all that. Yeah. On Saturday, then, what team should we go with? I think it'll probably be Chapman in net. He's not done out wrong. Young lad, done all right. I mean, if anybody starts criticising for the goals that he's letting, like, just go back and watch some of the keepers that we've had over the years that have made howlers, and he's not a bad lad. So I can get. We'll as we go through the team, we'll agree. Yeah. So Chapper's in net. I think the back three will be for me, Lomvik. Okay.
You said back three. I think we should play 4-4-2.
No, but I'm saying what will probably happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I agree that it shouldn't be 3-5-2, but I this is what it will be. So it'll be, I think, back three of Lomvik, Pearson, and I think it'll be Lomvik, Spencer, and Lees.
Yeah.
I think it's harsh on Pearson. I don't think he's done out wrong, but I think he'll miss out again. The wing backs will be Miller and Sorensen.
Yeah, I'm more sure of that than any other position on the pitch, I think, purely because there's nobody else in those positions that gives us an option, unless you want to drop Miller and swap him out for Brodie Spencer, maybe. But I don't think...
Headley. There's Headley.
No, absolutely not. Sorry.
Okay, midfield. We'll move on before you say something illegal. So midfield three. We'll go Evans. Ben Wiles doesn't seem to be droppable. So, but Ben Wiles, Evans, and Hodge.
I think start Hodge. Yeah.
Or do you think he'll start off with it?
I don't think Hodge. I don't think we should be starting Hogg at all. I've made no secret of that. I also don't think Kasumu is worthy of a recall to the starting 11. So
that's a big shout.
Thank you. I don't shy away from these big calls, mate. But I'd say Hodge in that central position, Evans right hand side, Wiles left hand side.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. And then up top. Josh Carome's got a back problem, so it's going to be Freddie Ladapo, isn't it? Freddie Ladapo and Ben Marshall. Blooming heck, he was an ex-Cardiff player. Young Marshall. I forget his first. What's his first name?
What's my name, Stephen?
Chris.
No!
Oh, Callum Marshall. I've lost it. Callum Marshall. Callum Marshall and Freddie Ladapo. Are you agreeing with that?
As much as it pains me to say it, I think that is correct. Although I do see about as much threat in Freddie Ladapo as me next to a salad bar. So,
You mean you like salad? I've seen you chomping on that lettuce. You take a salad box to games.
Yeah, it's just full of them. It's just full of them bacon bits.
Just you eating pancetta in the home end there. And before we round up this fantastic positive podcast. Score prediction, Callum?
Do I have to?
Yeah, because it's the rules.
All right. Be so Town to win 1-0.
Yeah, it will, won it.
1-0, Freddie Ladapo.
Right. Is that your serious prediction?
Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
Right. Okay. So 1-0 to Town. Freddie Ladapo, 90th minute, and then goes bugs Callum in the stand.
He's not. 90th minute.
And then I'll go for. Oh, sorry, we've just got a call coming in.
My God.
That was loud. I'll go for I'll go for a Town 2-1. No, I'll go for a 2-1 loss. I think Barnsley 2, Town 1. I just don't see us winning. I think it'll be 5 losses on the spin. I just do. We've got some end comments coming in. Teddy 930. Wiles must have some serious. And we've also got Blue Teddy 19 who says Karoma's back's hurting because he's carried the attacking force all season. Right, well, I think that's a good place to end, Cal.
I agree.
Thank you very much for everybody watching, getting your comments in. Very much appreciate everybody's comments in at the end. Thank you to everybody who's viewed. Please go like and subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with your friends, with your family, so you can get them to hear Cal's analysis and his promise to eat eyelids. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully very, very soon next week. Later in the week, I think are Leeds playing tomorrow? I think they're playing tomorrow. I think Jay and Steve are going to do a show tomorrow. See what Leeds do. We'll be back on the Monday show for the round table, where I'm sure I'll be a lot more positive than what I've been tonight. And yeah, that's it, Town fans. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye.